Hello, welcome to Off the Shelf Reviews.
I'm Iain.
And I'm Gary. And today we're taking a look at Menace to Society by the Hughes brothers, which was released in 1993. Iain, the synopsis.
Well, the story follows Tyrin Turner, who plays Kane. Now, Kane is living in South Central Los Angeles and has just finished high school. He starts to hang around with his gangster friends a lot more and starts to get into quite a bit of trouble. He starts to realise that some of his actions might have deadly consequences.
Right from the beginning of the film, we see him and his friend, and they just go into a convenience store. And as soon as they go in there, you can sort of see the racial stereotypes coming to the forefront of this film, where we have these two African-American guys. The prejudice against black people is there straight away. They're sort of pretending to clean whilst they keep an eye on these two, whilst they're going and getting alcohol, getting beer, and just walking around. And straight away, his friend starts giving out verbal abuse to these workers. And they're just like, just buy and leave. Just leave our store. And a confrontation is happening. And just when you think it's just going to blow over and they're going to leave, he just gives one last comment back about his mother and feeling sorry for her.
I feel sorry for your mother.
What you say about my mama?
Oh, yeah.
And that was it. That was all it took just to spark off a big shootout.
How many times I come in this motherfucker? You got something to say?
And he shoots him in the head, shoots him in the chest, and then grabs his wife, takes her to the back of the store, and then you can hear some screams, and then he shoots her too. And I was like, okay, this is the opening scene, and I already hate these characters. I mean, okay, I can understand that people have been shot and killed in real life for much less, but still, if these are our heroes of the film, or I'm not going to say that word, they are the protagonists of the film, they are the characters we're going to follow, it immediately sets you on a morally misaligned route. And the whole film, for me, is trying to push the main character back into the side of being good, where he instinctively is an asshole.
Yeah. I love this movie. This movie sits up there with me, the same as Boys in the Hood and The Godfather and Scarface, and it's gritty and realistic, and released in 1993 tells what I believe is a true story of not just how people live in South Central Los Angeles, but in gang related cities around the world. I mean, like we said, the opening scene, they just go into the store to buy alcohol, and the storekeeper, he doesn't want them there. He doesn't have anything against those two characters in general, but he's probably had many a number of people come in, not just African American, but Mexican as well, and maybe other Asian gangsters as well, have come in and caused trouble. And so he doesn't want any trouble. But then he says that one line to O-Dog. O-Dog, played by Larenz Tate, is I don't want to call him the fucking man, but Larenz Tate himself, the actor, is absolutely amazing.
Now, O-Dog was the craziest nigga alive. America's nightmare. Young, black, and didn't give a fuck.
I can only support that by the fact that I truly, truly hated his character the entire length of the film. Now, I am inflicting that upon the actor as well. And it's only when the film's over they go, yeah, they were just actors. It's not a documentary I just watched. Yeah.
But this is the thing. I mean, we then hear the narration from Tyrin Turner. He talks about the Watts riots, which was a real life thing happening in LA, and you just see the gritty video imagery of the cops and the riot
The
sequences.
police brutality.
What-
Just.
I know, when you see that tank rolling down the street, I'm like, okay, in 1960s America, they were willing on sending tanks into neighborhoods. Riots nowadays, even recent riots that we had in London only a few years ago, we didn't roll tanks down the streets. So what has changed since then? It's the I don't want to really use the word, but it's the American view, the aggressiveness of, we need to keep these people in line. But you push them to that limit and they're going to kick off. We then follow Kane as a small boy, and you see his father played by the ever brilliant Samuel L. Jackson. And
it's very early in his career as well, because I
Yeah.
think at this point, I think I'd only ever seen him in Pulp Fiction.
This is a tasty burger.
But seeing him in this was perhaps my most memorable impact of actually seeing him, because in Pulp Fiction it kind of felt silly and
Yeah.
over the top, whereas in this it was that dark, dingy lighting,
Yeah.
the way it was all set up, and for me it reminded me of the scene in Goodfellas where it just built up that tension of just like, haha, you're not really going to shoot me, we're old friends, and then bang, bang, bang.
Yeah.
You're like, damn.
I just spent 5 motherfucking years in the joint. I told you I'll pay your monkey ass when I feel like it. Better suck my dick.
It's
Yeah.
like life is worth nothing to these people.
Yeah, for me, there was no way. I feel that there was no way that Kane was not going to get into drugs and violence and gang-related actions. Because his parents didn't care. They might have loved him, but they were not afraid to show him that this is what happens. This is what happens on a daily basis to us. We will have people coming in, going to prison or coming back from prison. But if they owe us money, we're going to fucking take it out of them. It then skips ahead, and we see Kane now as a teenager leaving school. And it's like he says in his narration, he only went to school half the time, so only half the amount of information got into him. But he learned a lot more from the streets, following his friends around like O-Dog and AWACS. I gotta bring up AWACS. I was looking this up when I was writing this. AWACS, played by MC8, has actually gone on to voice characters in the GTA series. He voiced Ryder from GTA San Andreas, and only recently his song, which is in the end credits of Menace Society, is actually on the soundtrack for GTA 5.
You could see a lot of Grand Theft Auto's inspiration in perhaps this, especially when you look at San Andreas.
Yep. And that's what I kind of really love about this film, is that this film is so impactful. It has been used in a lot of popular cultural references in the future. We follow the film as it goes on, and we get introduced to other characters as well, like Ronnie, played by Jada Pinkett Smith. She is she's an amazing actress anyway, but in this, her mother role figure is just...
It's really endearing, and you really see her struggling with the fact that her previous, I don't know if it was a husband or boyfriend, or
Yeah.
he's doing multiple life sentences. He's got no chance of parole, and she's been left with their son, and she's trying to raise him right, not on the streets.
Yeah.
And you really see her struggle with the black community that she's surrounded in, that, the chances of him having a normal life in this environment is slim to none.
Yeah.
So she's desperate to try and keep him shielded and keep him safe, to the point where she's like, I'm leaving town. We're going to go somewhere where this environment is not going to impact on my son. And it is in complete contrast to our main character, who is seeing the light. He's seeing people that are trying to make a difference.
Yeah.
And then when he thinks, yeah, you're probably right, he goes out and does something really stupid almost instantly afterwards. And so I'm constantly watching him trying to internally struggle with doing the right thing, going to school, selling drugs, listening to his grandparents going out and stealing a car.
Yeah.
It's just, the scales keep balancing, and you think that he might learn to what he's doing is wrong and make the choice to get away. But you keep seeing him do these horrible things, and you're questioning to yourself, should he get away? Should he be able to? And it makes me laugh that there's a point in the film where he's just sat watching old gangster movies.
Yeah.
And in the clip that we're seeing of what he's watching, the bad guy sort of gets away, shoots the cop and gets away. And so it's just showing you that in the film world, it's a fairy tale world. You know, things can happen. Whereas obviously this film is alluding to it, the fact that it's the real world. It may not necessarily go that way.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, if you look at films like Scarface as well, you know, you hate the Tony Montana character and you don't want him to get away. But as you follow Tony through the story, just as you follow Kane, you know, they have their high moments and then they make these really stupid decisions and you're sat there just like, I want you to fail. And then they accomplish something, and you kind of feel good for them.
Thomas, come on out of that room. Come on down here and say hello to our grandson.
The Lord's grace is with you, boy. And I want to let you know that next week, when you get that diploma, I'll be the proudest grandfather in all of L.A.
I mean, it's the same way with Kane in this one. When he gets his first car, and he's driving around in his car. And you know that if he's driving a really shit car, nobody's going to want to carjack him. But he doesn't want to drive a shit car. He wants to have that respect coming from his friends and everybody who sees him. So he goes out and he carjacks somebody else for their rims and their radio. And I love that sequence because he pulls up on the guy while the guy's trying to order food from the burger joint. And he's just like, give me a goddamn double burger with cheese as well. And I'm like, okay, now you're pushing it a bit.
Nigga, what the fuck you want from me? Nigga, you know what the fuck I want, nigga. I want your motherfucking Dayton's and your motherfucking stereo. And I'll take a double burger with cheese. What? Motherfucker, order my motherfucking food.
Hi, may I take your order, please?
At the same time, there are some really harsh sequences in the film. I mean, like we said, the opening robbery sequence is brutally harsh. And it's a sequence that comes up over and over again because O-Dog managed to actually get the security camera videotape. And he's happy to show it to all of his friends. Where Kane is just like, stop showing the video or we're going to get caught out. And then, you know, later on, there's the moment where Kane is hanging out with his cousin Harold. And he tells you that Harold, you know, he comes from a different part of the city and he's a hustler. He makes his money. He's got all these cars. And they get carjacked.
I'm tired of Get your ass up out the car, nigga. Get the fuck out. Break yourself, nigga. Break yourself.
And it's a really tense sequence where the guys are pulled up and they've got the gun to Harold's head. And I sit there, every time I watch this, I sit there like, Harold, just get out the car. Don't fight. Just get out of the car. And you see Harold's hand slowly move towards his gun. And you're just like, don't do it, don't do it. And it pulls it, as he goes to pull up the gun, the guy goes, I've got you. And he just shoots him.
That nigga doing it? Nigga, fuck you.
And the harshness of it is that they shoot Kane as well, but when O-Dog and the rest of them pull up, they can't take Harold. And O-Dog says, look, he is dead. Leave him. And you see, I love as well Sharif. Sharif is a converted Muslim, and he is trying to get his life back onto track, and he just stays with Harold in the middle of the street. You know, he knows Harold is dead, but he just can't leave his friend just lying there. So he stays there, and you're just like, wow.
Right, okay? You stay with him, then. Let's go.
So it does show that these characters, or some of these characters, might have some compassion for each other. Whereas for the most part, most of these characters don't give a shit whether they live or die, or anything for that matter. And that's quite a focal point very early in the film where Kane's grandfather turns to him as he's leaving the house and just says, hey, do you care if you live or die? And he turns and his response is, I don't know.
Yeah.
He's just like, it doesn't really matter to me whether I live or die today or tomorrow. And that lingers throughout the rest of the film, like I said before.
I think as well, it's you know, Kane's at that age where he doesn't have any responsibilities. You know, he's living day to day. It's all about the money and the cars and the respect. But it's when he starts to have relations to Ronnie. You know, he didn't mean to get close to Ronnie because obviously he was close to her boyfriend. But once he starts to get with her, and Purnell is the boyfriend's character, he says to Kane, look, go with her. She needs to be looked after. I want you to look after my son as well. And you can see the tears running down Kane's face where he's just like, okay, you know, I need to change.
Take care of my son. I can't do shit for him in here. You teach him better than I taught you, man.
Well, I think that comes after we've had Dylan, who's on parole from Fury 161, come and deliver a lecture to him in the school classroom, and explains to him basically,
being a black man in America isn't easy. The hunt is on. And you're the prey. All I'm saying is survive. All right?
I love that as well. Obviously, bringing up Dylan from Alien 3, we also have Bill Duke from Predator, and his interrogation scene with Kane. Kane is just being caught trying to steal a car, and Bill Duke is questioning him about the robbery from the beginning of the film. And it kind of reminds me of The Lives of Others, where, you know, you keep questioning the person, and the person is trying to keep up the same story, but then you change a little bit the information.
And let them repeat it back to you.
And let them repeat it, because obviously they're getting all confused, and he's just sat there going...
Yeah, it was 12:15. Exact. If I'm not mistaken, it was 12.
Now you see something? Now you see now. You done fucked up, you know that, don't you?
I
see what I'm saying?
I thought...
No, so, you know what I'm saying? That you done fucked up now, you know that, don't you?
I am not a huge fan of gangster films. I do like Scorsese's foray into the gangster genre. I'm not a fan of the Godfather trilogy. I'm not a big fan of blaxploitation films either. So this film for me kind of just falls in the middle area. I really appreciate the acting and the directing of the Hughes brothers in the writing and direction, and the cinematography of the film. I think it's not brilliant, but it's way above average. There are so many brilliant long pans where the camera is just moving between all these different characters, and it does make me laugh that after the camera's panned around a couple of characters when they're having a barbecue, their heads just sort of pop up in front of the camera, like if they're on cue, because the camera's moving around so smoothly. So I really appreciated the camera work, the acting, the writing, the direction. It's just, I don't really care for the subject matter, and I don't really care for these characters struggling to decide what's right and wrong, especially when, for me, the decision of what's right and wrong is so fucking clear and obvious that watching these numbskulls try to make that sort of, have those moments of clarity, it's very difficult for me to want to empathize with these characters when I can see, and they've been told so many times by so many different people what they need to do to fix their lives, but there's no end to it, there's no escape for it. A lot of people have said that this is perhaps a ghetto movie, which I can't really say I agree with. It's really more of a thug life movie, and so it is almost compelling viewing just to watch, just to see how this will play out. And knowing that there is a lot of intelligence behind the script writers, it does play out in a way that you couldn't really see coming, or that you could have totally easily predicted just from the offset.
Man, I suck your dick. Come on, man, just hook me up.
What the fuck you just say, nigga?
Man, I said I suck your dick. Come on, man, just get me fucked.
Damn. Suck on that, you bitch-ass trick.
Yo, dog, hurry up!
Any of y'all want a hamburger?
My favourite scene in the film, other than the interrogation scene and the ordering the food when he's being carjacked, I really like the scene where the grandparents are sat watching It's a Wonderful Life with Kane. It's just such a stark contrast between watching this wholesome white family on Christmas that have overcome and learned life's lessons and bonded as a family, compared to this family which are just going through various degrees of separation until it gets to the point where they kick him out of the house.
Yeah.
I can't really recommend the film other than as a curiosity piece. If you've never seen it, it's worth checking out, because then you'll make your own decision about this film, because you really should.
My favourite scenes, obviously, like we said, the carjacking scene with Harold is brutally harsh. The interrogation sequence with Bill Duke, the moral lesson coming from the grandparents as well as Charles S. Dutton is absolutely brilliant done. But on top of that, any scene with Larenz Tate in as O-Dog is just absolutely brilliant. I mean, one scene that particularly sticks out in my mind is when him and Kane, they go to a friend's house to pick up some guns because they're going to go commit 187, as O-Dog calls it. And one of their friends comes walking in with a shotgun and points it at O-Dog. And O-Dog just looks at it, and he just looks like he's in love. He's in love with this gun and just knows the kind of trouble and destruction he's going to cause with this weapon.
Hey man, this what the police. Yo, man, what you doing, nigga? Oh, scared like some bitches.
I definitely recommend this film. If you've never seen it, I recommend this. I recommend Boys in the Hood, which we will review at some point in the future. Like I said, if you're not into gangster films, this might open the door for other films like Layer Cake, Snatch, Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, City of God, The Godfather trilogy, Scarface. There are numerous gangster movies out there, but this one is my all-time favourite.
Thanks for watching Off the Shelf Reviews.
Come on, y'all. Straight up Menace. Now I'm of age and living in the projects, getting paid off the clicks.
Yo, what's up now, partner?